There they are, the 3 points of the Trident for UC San Diego, and here he is, the head coach of men's crew, Zach Johnson, coming off a momentous weekend for UC San Diego crew. Coach, we spoke on Triton Talk last week prior to the San Diego Crew Classic about your expectations for your varsity crew this weekend. To be in the grand final of the Copley Cup and to go against the top teams and the top programs in the nation, that had to be a real thrill.
Yeah, we did what we wanted to do. We made it into the grand final. It was a big deal for UCSD. That was the first time a non-Pac 10 school from the West Coast had ever made it into the grand final. So for us, it was huge.
And yet, not unexpected. Having talked to you last weekend, I know you guys had very high expectations coming into the regatta.
Yeah, we've got a big crew, the strongest crew we've ever had as far as our depth and what we're capable of doing this year. But of course, you never know. Everything that's on paper is not how it always works out. But the guys lived up to what we thought that they could do, and they performed really well. Saturday,
of course, was the opportunity to qualify for the grand final. I just talked to one of the senior members of your crew, Justin Gordon, on this week's Triton Talk about how that race really came together for the guys in the Varsity 8 and really was, in his mind, one of the best races that they've run. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, Northeastern actually came into that race, I think, ranked 10th in the country. And for us, we were through the first 800, we were a little down. The coxswain made a good call on the water. We caught a little bit of rough water midway through where we were supposed to be taking our move. He waited for some flatter water, and when they went, they just started taking people off and almost ran down Temple, in the final few feet. So it was an exciting race.
Obviously, when you talk about programs like Cal and Stanford and you're going into the grand final, you can see their times. You can see that they're 20, 30 seconds ahead. What were your expectations as a coach and as a group heading into the grand final? Did you feel that you met those expectations, rose above, sank below? What were your thoughts?
I think for us, we have to look at where we've come from in the last few years. I actually, after the racing was all done, I had a kind of time to reflect on it. I kind of looked at the past few years and where we had been in relationship to those teams at different events, and we're definitely starting to close the gap. 2-3 years ago we were 30 seconds behind. Last year we narrowed it down into the 20s, and now we went into the teens. And in the heat we were actually only 5 seconds off of Stanford, which is amazing. Now I think that those guys had a whole nother gear that they went to in the final, but still to become within 18 seconds of Cal, which is the national champion and used to be beating people by 30-40 seconds, it's huge. We're getting there, and slowly. It's not a bridge you're going to cross really quick, but we're doing it one year at a time.
A lot of the coverage that has come out of your guys' great run at the San Diego Crew Classic is centered around the nature of UC San Diego athletics, making that transition hopefully over the next 2-3 years to Division I, and how you guys already, competing against top Division I programs, are kind of acting in a small way as a vanguard for the athletic department. Do you feel that yourself?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of attention for it this weekend, and I said it back in 2007, I think, when we first won the Cal Cup. I mean, UCSD just has amazing athletes, amazing coaches. I've never been a part of a group of coaches that can, and their athletes that can raise, the bar. And the Division I thing, in my opinion, is a title. It's something that's out there, but my crew, some of these other coaches, the kids that they've got, they can bridge the gap, and I think we're ready to do it. And as a department, it's something we need to be going towards.
Again, talking to your senior, Justin Gordon, he talked about how he was one of 2 freshmen recruited to the program, and the other guy dropped out. And by his 4th year, he's looking at a group of 20 coming in. How amazing, and you were just talking about it, looking back over the course of the 2, 3, 4 years of the last 4 years of the program, how far you've come. Are you personally amazed by it, or was this all where you thought you'd be?
Yeah, well, there's been a plan in place, and the best laid plans, you never know. But yeah, I mean, the idea was to get a group that we had to get competitive, and as we got more competitive, of course, you get a little bit more attention, and you have weekends like this weekend where all of a sudden you're relevant, and we got the rowing news calling us the Wild Wild West, and all sorts of different really fun things, but all that attention gets our name out there, and all of a sudden we've got something to offer. We've got a great university, and on top of it, we're in San Diego. And if you're going to spend 4 years with that combination, it's a recruiting tool that we've learned to kind of use to our advantage.
All right, last thing. Kevin Towers used to roam the tunnels of Qualcomm Stadium or Petco Park when Trevor Hoffman came in to pitch because he refused to watch Trevor pitch. He would never watch Trevor Hoffman save a game. And of course, Trevor saved all the games for the most part. You don't watch your teams once they leave the opening gate there, and you don't watch your boats out on the water. Is it the same thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't take a control freak and then go ahead and push them off the beach and say, okay, you're good to go, and I have nothing to do with this, and just sit down and enjoy watching anything. I mean, I always tell my crew, the entire time I was racing and rowing, I slept calmly every night. I knew what I was capable of doing. But to launch a crew off the beach and listen to them come down the course is the most nerve-wracking thing I can get. And parents sometimes misunderstand it as I don't care, and it's exactly the opposite. I just can't. Until they cross the finish line, I pretty much hold my breath the whole time.
Ulcers are brewing inside Zach Johnson's belly. Yeah. Coach, congratulations on a great run at the Copley Cup.
Thank you very much.